Arguably, the most anticipated fight in modern times is finally on. After 6 years of negotiations, that was one hell of a long negotiation. It is confirmed now that Floyd Mayweather will face Manny Pacquiao in Las Vegas on May 2nd. It's a fight that unites two of the biggest names in boxing, but also two of the biggest names in cable TV. The last time Showtime and HBO struck such a deal was 13 years ago, when prize money and viewership was just a fraction of what it is today. Wait till you hear how much now. How many hundreds of millions will the fight of the century produce? Joining me now to talk about it all, Intersport founder and CEO Charlie Besser, Sports Impact CEO Patrick Rishe, and American boxing trainer and ESPN boxing analyst Teddy Atlas. We begin with Teddy. You have watched these two, Pacquiao and, of course, Mayweather, fight and argue about whether this deal would happen. Now it's happening. Could it be the fight of the century?
I don't know if it'll be the fight of the century as far as content, as far as, the actual action in the ring. But it will be the moneymaker of the century and beyond the century. I mean, it will make more money than any other fight before it, and many of them combined. The universe is somewhere around 400 million, probably upwards.
$400 million.
That's the universe. I mean, the fighters are going to split probably about 200 million. Probably, the bigger percentage going to the man who's in charge, who has the stronger leverage. That's Mayweather. He's getting 120 million, and then Pacquiao, the poor guy, he doesn't have the leverage. He gets 80 million.
What if Pacquiao wins? Does he get the?
Well, it depends if it's a look. If he wins, obviously there'd be more money in a rematch if it's a competitive fight, if it's a good fight, if it's an interesting fight to the public, they can sell it again, and then he has the upper hand. Obviously, the reason why that this fight is even taking place is because Pacquiao might have had money problems. He might have had tax problems in the Philippines. He made concessions. He came to the table. And then Mayweather played it smart, like you people here that are smart with business. Mayweather's not just smart in the ring.
He is really smart. And you know what, Teddy? You're pretty smart, too. Let's show Teddy. Teddy trained Tyson. You have trained some of the most important boxers in the past, right? Can you game who might win this one?
Listen, going in, it's a 2.5-1 favorite. If you listen to Vegas, right now, Mayweather's 2.5 to 1 favorite. I give Pacquiao a really good chance to win the fight.
Okay, that makes it even more interesting. Charlie Besser, you have produced sports television for every network on the planet. I mean, I think maybe, Teterboro television you haven't done, but everybody else you have. This will be a split between HBO and Showtime. It'll be pay-per-view. The number I saw was $89.95 if people want to watch it there. What could this mean to sports television?
It's going to be huge. There's some interesting facts. The record for a number of buys is 2.5 million, and that's an old record, and I think that's going to be exceeded. I'm hearing that the price might be even as high as $100.
Wow.
And so just imagine if there's 300 or 3 to 3.5 million buys, that's $300 to $350 million of pay-per-view revenue. It's going to be amazing. They're talking about a gate of 40 million. And I'll tell you that what's interesting, this 60-40 split really doesn't happen with Mayweather getting 60%, which he definitely deserves, and Pacquiao getting 40%. And I really do think this is the beginning of there will be at least 2 of these, if not 3. So the numbers really get ridiculous. It just goes to show you the power of a major, major event. But this thing doesn't happen if the Showtime and HBO guys don't get together, and if Les Moonves and CBS, which controls Showtime, doesn't take a leadership role. But this is big. It's going to be big. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It could be amazing. And Patrick Rishe, you look at the opportunities here. The networks could stretch this out. They could do night before. They could do post-fight. I mean, this could be absolutely massive. But in the end, could it be possible that the fighters get a slightly raw deal? I mean, how is $100 million a raw deal? But they're the ones people really want to see here.
At the end of the day, they're both going to do tremendously well. Keep in mind right now, as of last year, Sports Illustrated's 2014 most fortunate athletes, Mayweather was making $105 million, and poor Pacquiao, was only at $40 million. So they're going to do very well. But 2 points I want to make real quickly. Number one is the face value ticket prices at this event are rumored to be anywhere between $1,000 and $4,000. Wow. So I'd love to see what the secondary price market's going to be for this particular event. It's going to be at the MGM Grand grand, 17,000 capacity. It's going to be through the roof.
Well, yeah, it would be. And, let me just interrupt here, Teddy. Back in the day when you watched Tyson, and let me just throw out one I know about. Buster Douglas and Tyson in Tokyo, which
maybe
was
the biggest upset of all time, not just in boxing, in sports.
Right. That was one of the...
I mean, Douglas was a 40-1 underdog. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. 40-1, and he beats Tyson, but a ticket to something like that back then, what were those tickets?
Oh, a lot cheaper than these.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need Warren Buffett to tell you that it's changed a lot.
But these guys are kind of not the twilight, but they're in their late 30s, both of them. I think Mayweather's turning 38 tomorrow, and you've got Pacquiao, 36 years old. Does that make any difference?
Listen, the fight's happening 6 years too late. Mm-hmm. But,
yeah.
You know, the reason why it's still big is the fight fan is like a guy, it's like a person walking in the desert. And his tongue is hanging out. He's parched. And he wants to get an oasis. He wants to see an oasis, some hope, something to quench his thirst. Okay. And he looks up and he sees this fight, and he's hoping it's an oasis. But we just hope that it's not a mirage, because I sure as hell hope that he doesn't get sand in his mouth instead of water. Well, and the guys there that are a lot smarter with the numbers than me, but one thing that I argue with them is it's not going to be 2 or 3 rematches, not if it's not an interesting fight. It has to be a decent,
right, Charlie? I mean, especially for the networks, they got to have some sexiness here.
Listen, with Mayweather involved, it's automatically sexy. The run-up programming, there'll be a series on both Showtime and on HBO. HBO will do the Pacquiao series. Showtime will do the Mayweather series. Yeah. The run-up to this thing is going to be unbelievable. The hype will be crazy. I think these guys, I'm not an expert in boxing, but I think that they will they're both great athletes. And I think everybody assumes it'll be close. Yeah. I'm sure they'll put on a great show because they know what's involved, too. They are not stupid at all.
Nobody wants to be humiliated. They want to fight it out.
No, they're not. No one's going to be humiliated. It's going to be a heck of a fight, I think. I'm not an expert, but I think for business reasons, it'll be a heck of a fight.
He's got a really nice suit on. I don't have a beautiful suit like he has on. But I'm not sure the last time
you know more about boxing than I do.
I'm not sure the last time that he threw a punch or anything, but styles make fights. Styles make fights. Yeah. They can be the greatest fighters in the world, but if the styles are not conducive to making a good fight, then it's not going to be. And Floyd, he's not a guy that makes the most exciting fights. He's a defensive guy. He's a smart guy. He's very calculating, very careful. He's a counterpuncher. Yeah. Doesn't always translate into the thrill in Manila.
Right. And for a business network, they are business guys. Hey, it's great discussion to have you closer to the time. May 2nd, we're going to have you all back. Intersport founder and CEO Charlie Besser, Sports Impact CEO Patrick Rishe, and American boxing trainer Teddy Atlas. Great to have you.